Now, in the past, it was quite complicated and difficult to get a visa. 大家好，我是 Surat 在中国. Hey everyone, it's Surat in China. How y'all doing today? Thank you so much for joining me once again, and thank you as always for your continued support of the channel. Now, I am listening to you people. I get a lot of comments and I do my best to reply to all of them and to listen to what you are saying, especially when you're asking me questions or asking me to do new content which is relevant and interesting to you. For example, a few of you have asked what translation apps work the best in China, how to get a taxi or a little blue beauty, a little public bicycle in China, how to do payments in China. Do I still need traveler's checks? Can I use my credit card? Do I have to have cash, etc.? But one topic that's come up recently that I thought I'd talk about today is, do I need a visa to come and visit China? So let's go over that. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thank you so much for helping my channel to grow. And if you want to become a supporter of Surant over here in China, it's really easy to do. Simply remember to hit that subscribe button before you leave the video. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks everyone. It really helps the YouTube algorithm to find my videos and share them with more people. Appreciate it. Long story short, unless you are one of very few, I think 6 to 10 countries in the entire world, yes, you do absolutely need a visa to come to China. Now, in the past, it was quite complicated and difficult to get a visa. They didn't have the same type of electronic information like they have now. So in order for me, for example, to get my work visa to come be a teacher in China, first I had to get an appointment with the Chinese consulate, which was in a different city. Once I arrived there, I had to have photos, proper photos, people. I can't emphasize this enough. I know the technology has gotten better. Do not try taking the photos yourself and either printing them or sending them electronically. I won't say they will always, but they will almost always be rejected. Instead, spend the $10 or $20. Go to a professional photographer, a photo studio. A lot of travel agents do this as well. Get proper photos taken. Those people in those places know the exact format. They know exactly how to Photoshop little bits out of the photo that would normally get your photo rejected. For example, having an earring in your photo, whether you're a man or a woman, rejected. If you go to a photo mat and you have earrings in, they'll either give you the option or tell you to take them out. If you don't want to, or if they're solid, something like that, they'll Photoshop that out for you. But if you sent that in yourself with that earring in, reject it. So in the old days, you would need photos, you would need the application, you would need fingerprints. You would need a full itinerary of your flight to China, your flight back from China, where you were going to be staying in the interim before you started your contract, and an invitation letter from your employer, right? And then you would only get a tourist visa, a 30-day tourist visa. And once you arrived in China, your employer would take your passport and then they would change the visa inside and process it into a working visa, because only the employer had the right to process a work visa. Individuals did not. And to this day, as far as I know, individuals still cannot process their own work visas. You still would be required to get a tourist visa to enter China and then change the visa once you got here. The same is true also of family visas. To my understanding, business visas, if you have the right documentation, you can get overseas, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to be getting a tourist visa first and then coming to China to process the next visa. It was typically quite expensive back then, and it was very, very time consuming. Spending a month to get a visa was not uncommon. So it could play havoc if you had already booked your tickets and had everything all in place. And for example, you got a photo rejected or didn't have the proper invitation letter, et cetera, et cetera. These days, it is a lot simpler. The Chinese government in the past 10 years, and specifically since they reopened last year after COVID, has gone out of their way to make the visa process much, much easier. Canada, for example, like many other countries, can now, if you're just coming on a tourist basis for 30 to 60 days, you can do an e-visa where you still have to have an invitation letter, you still have to have photos, and you still have to have all the other documents, but you can transmit those documents electronically and have an electronic visa that doesn't require you to send your passport away and wait for them to put a sticker in and send it back. So that simplifies things a lot. It's a lot lower cost and it's a lot faster. However, if you do plan on coming longer than that, you do definitely need to do the traditional process. Or, for example, if you're a teacher coming over to China to teach, you again will have to get a short term tourist visa, come to China first, and then your employer will have to process the work visa for you. Now, when you do get a work visa or a family visa or any type of long term visa in China, you will also be required once you arrive here to go to an authorized hospital and have a full comprehensive health check. This is mandatory. It's not an optional thing. And even though you could try to get a full health check from your own doctor in your own home country, 9 times out of 10, it will be rejected and you'll just have to get it done here anyway. So just be prepared that when you first go to process your new visa, your employer or yourself, if you're coming on a family visa like I did, will have to go and get a full medical. Now, for me, it was very simple. I didn't know this when I came. So when I arrived at my appointment at the police office to apply for my new visa, they told me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, no, you need a full health check. You need a full medical. I thought, oh, crap. Well, there's no way I'm going to be able to get that today. They said, oh, yeah, no, you can't hop in a taxi, go over to this hospital. They'll do it for you right now. Really? Yep. Okay, so being skeptical, I went over there and I tried. They gave me the full blood tests, urine, ultrasound, ECG, ear, nose, throat, every single type of testing I could imagine. I've never had such a comprehensive health check back in Canada. All done, no wait. I walked in, said, hi, I need this, and handed them the paper, and in I went. When I came back out again, it normally would have cost me about $30 or $40, but as my wife is a Chinese citizen and I'm coming on a family visa, they said, oh, this is your wife? Okay, then it's free. Your results will be ready tomorrow. Now, the visa office here also told us when you go to pick up your results tomorrow, you don't need to book a new appointment. Just come right back to my kiosk, hand me your paperwork, and we're done. Really? And it was as simple as that. Now, I got this time a 2-year family visa. And the reason I got 2 years instead of 5 or 10 is simply because my passport is expiring in a couple of years. So what they prefer to do is on a family visa or a long-term visa, they will give you a visa for the duration of your passport. That way, as soon as you go get a new passport, you can apply for a new visa at the same time, and then you'll have a 10-year document in one passport instead of having two. Oh, this is the passport. My old passport has my visa in it. Here's my new passport. It's confusing in the system. It just makes sense. However, that said, it is very, very easy now to get 5 and 10 year family reunification or family visit visas, which is a great relief. I can't wait to get mine. It just simplifies the whole process. I don't need to think about it again. Now, for tourist visas, it's also very different these days. In the past, 30 to 60 days was maximum. However, they've changed the duration substantially. Now it's possible to get 90 and even 180-day tourist visas. Now, you still have to, whether it's 30 days or 180 days, you still have to have the photos. You have to have the interview at the consulate or embassy in your home country. You have to have the fingerprints. You have to go through the process of providing your itinerary, your flights, your hotels, et cetera, et cetera. But the cost is a lot lower. But that's only for 30 to 60 days. If you're going to be here for 90 to 180 days, you also have to have a special interview where they have to determine why you want to be in China for 90 to 180 days. If you were to say, well, I kind of want to find a Chinese girlfriend so that I can live here forever, ain't gonna work. Well, I just kind of want to hang out for 6 months, and see, randomly travel around, ain't gonna work. Well, if you have an itinerary that has you on tours of Inner Mongolia, of Eastern China, then Western China, a tour in Southern China, you know, in with a defined and set schedule that they would go for. But they're not going to give you just a 6 month visa just to come and hang out. It's just not going to happen. But the very fact that they offer that service is amazing. Now, the most important thing, I've been talking mostly about Canadian visas because that's what I know. Like I said, there are 6 to 10 different countries, I believe, in the world that require no visa. Some are European, some are African, some are South American. Yours might be one of them. So it's really worth checking out. There's only one other very strange exception to that whole rule about the itinerary, the flights, the hotels, et cetera, the interview, and that is America. Right now, as of uh, last year, the end of COVID, Americans have an unprecedented opportunity to come and visit China like they've never had before. Now, Americans can get a visa to come visit China with no flight itinerary, no hotel information, no invitation letter, and no need to go for an interview at the consulate. Every other country, except for those very few exceptions, has to go through that process, including Canada, right next door to America. Americans do not need that. They can apply for a visa. I believe it's an e-visa even, hop on a plane and go to China. Just like that. Why is that? Let me tell you. China and America have had troubled relations in the past. It's true. And in the past, when the politicians from your country, if they got into a fight with the politicians in China, they would do things like shorten visa durations, increase visa costs, make visa processing times longer, or make even just the entire visa processing policies more difficult as a reaction to the negative politics. However, and this has happened to American friends of mine here many times. However, China and America, both seeing the need to encourage tourism after COVID, to open up the borders again, have done something unprecedented. Now, for some time now, Chinese citizens have had the ability to get a not 6 month, not 1 year, not even 5 year multi entry tourist visa to go visit America. Chinese citizens now can get a 10-year multi entry tourist visa for like $175. And then for the next 10 years, they can go back and forth to America anytime they want. If you saw my video about the illegal Chinese border crossings through Mexico, you'll see why I think that's a bunch of crap. If you can get a 10-year multi entry visa to go to America anytime you want, why the hell would you go to all the trouble of entering illegally? Now, in return, China has reciprocated and said, okay, Americans, you want to come to China for 30 to 60 days? No problem. You don't need an interview. You don't need fingerprints. You don't need hotel and flight itineraries. Just pay, I think it's $40, $40 or $50 for the visa, an e-visa. We'll process it, hop on a plane, come anytime you want. Unbelievable. No other country on the planet has such an easy visa policy with China right now. And again, it's reciprocal. China wants American tourists to come spend money in China. They want to rebuild the economy. America wants Chinese tourists to start flocking back to America because it's good for the economy. So they've built this relationship together, which is making it so much easier for travelers from both countries to be able to go and visit each other, which is amazing. Now, for the rest of us in the world, it's not so bad. As of this year, China has dramatically reduced, as of 2024, has reduced the fees for getting your visa quite dramatically, substantially in some cases. I know I read online that in Canada, the fees went down by $75 across the board for all the visas. And in America, it went down by $175. So it was really expensive before. But if it shows anything about getting a visa, it's not as bad as it ever was in the past. So I highly encourage you, contact your travel agents, contact the embassy or the consulate in your home country. Check out the regulations that you need to come to China, because you never know. You could be one of those lucky countries that doesn't require itineraries, doesn't require anything. Maybe you can get an e-visa or no visa and come right away. But even if you do need a visa, it's gotten a lot simpler. The visas have gotten a lot longer. So I encourage you all, if you're at all interested in coming to visit China, you should do so. Don't just rely on people like me to tell you the truth about what it's like living in China. Come on over, see for yourself. I guarantee you're going to be impressed. Anyway, this has just been a quick video. Well, not that quick, really. Just you asked for it. You wanted to know about visas. I'm going to make a few more videos very similar to this in the future. I'm going to talk about the difference between teaching. If you're interested in coming to China to be a teacher, it's a fantastic experience. But is there a difference between teaching in a kindergarten and a primary school and a high school? Is there a difference between teaching in a university and a training center? Absolutely. What translation apps do you need to have on your phone, or can you get specialized devices? I'll let you know. Is it tough to spend money? Is it tough to pay? How can you pay for things? Can you use your iPhone and your iWatch? Can you use your credit cards? Do you have to bring cash? Do you need money orders when you come to China? I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know about all of those types of things. And if there's anything else you want to know about specifically, hit me up in the comments and I'll be glad to answer those questions for you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you found it helpful, and we will see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit subscribe.